Right, in this example, I'm going to show you how to create a workflow to trace over your type work that you've sketched. So I've gone to Unsplash and I've typed in, so unsplash.com, I've typed in the word letters, scroll down, and I've downloaded this image here. And we're going to choose the letter I to trace over. So if you imagine you've sketched in some work, however you've done it, with pencil, biro, paint, whatever it is, you take a picture of it. And in this case, I've downloaded this. So download free. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it into Illustrator, and you can drag and drop it. So over here, I've saved my file, my Illustrator file, and here's the JPEG. So I'll drag it over and drop it. It's a bit large. So I'm going to zoom out, Command minus, click and drag in a corner. Don't let go of the mouse. Hold the Shift key down to keep the perspective. Don't forget, you don't want to distort it. And I will do it a couple of times. There we go. Bring it in. And Command 0 to fit in window, to fit the view, basically. Go to the View menu, and you can see Fit Artboard in window. If you're on a Windows machine, it's Control 0. And I'll do a quick save. I've already saved this, so we update. And this is just saved as a standard AI file, standard formats, just standard defaults, nothing fancy. Now, I need my layers panel up because we're going to use a few layers. I need my Pathfinder panel up because we're going to use the shape modes, usually the Unite one, but you can use the others as well. And you'll find them under the Window menu, Window and Layers. The tick means it's visible, and Pathfinder, again, the tick means it's visible or it's open. And I'll click off. I also have my shape tool torn off, so you just click and hold on the rectangle or whatever shape is there. Go to the right little triangle, let go, and then it's now free floating. And I've done the same for the pen tool and also for Shape Builder, which we won't be using here, and also the scissor tool, eraser tool, etc. Now, I've got several add-ons installed on Illustrator, so I've got extra tools you won't have. You'll see these various tools here, and on my right, I've got some extra panels which you won't have. I'm using the Astute Graphics plugin, which has about 20 or 30 add-ons that make life a lot easier. But I won't be using them now, but I just want you to be aware. Now, I'm going to zoom in, Command or Control plus a few times. Hold the space bar and click and drag with your mouse or trackpad, and then just to recenter and zoom in again. And click and drag. So I've got something like this. In fact, I'll make it a little bit bigger. I've got a big screen. There we go. Something like that. So let's have a look at this first. First of all, this image is on layer 1. If I expand this, you can see it's a linked file, In other words, this image actually isn't embedded in the AI file, it's linked. So if I were to give you the AI file, I would need to give you the JPEG as well. So be aware of that. I'll put this up on the Padlet with both, but just so you're aware, you need both. And if you're moving files around, if it's linked, you need to take along the linked file as well. This is in layer 1, so I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to call this image. I'm going to need some more layers, so I will need a layer for guides. This will be the guides for the baseline and things like this. I'll need another layer called trace, which is where I'm going to do the trace. Now I'm going to lock the image, so to the right of the eye, click, which means now I can't drag it, I can't move it. And if you notice the blue cross, well, you can't see now, but the blue cross disappears. Oh, zoom out a bit. If I select it, you see the blue cross means it's selected. If I lock it, it's not selected because you're not allowed to. So I'm going to do Command spacebar or Control spacebar, click and drag, rather than Control or Command plus all the time. There you go. I quite often do another layer called notes. I'll put that on top and I'll lock it. I haven't got any notes here, but I might write notes to myself or to my students to explain certain things. The order matters. So the image needs to be below everything, the guide's above that, and your trace result above that. Now, what about the guides? The guides need the ruler, and by default, unfortunately, Illustrator always shuts the ruler down, which is really annoying. So Command or Control R, here we go. And that's again under the View menu, and you can see here rulers, hide or show rulers, Command or Control R. And I'll go anywhere to the top ruler, drag it down, and this is going to be my baseline. So I'm going to do approximately something like that, and there it is, you see. And it's red because the layer I've specified, the guides layer was highlighted. So when I brought the guide down, it added it to the guide layer. And if I hide the guide layer, you see it disappears. And well, it was red. And now it changed. There you go. Now we select it. You can see it's red because we're on the layer with the red border, the red line here. That's how you know what layer you're on. Can you see all of these have different colors? Light blue, dark blue, etc. And if I double click to the right of the name, I can change the color if I wanted to let's say teal. I mean, it doesn't matter. And you can lock it and dim it and so on. Now, I'm only going to do one guide, and I'm not going to lock the guide, but under the View menu, if I go near the bottom, there's guides. I can hide guides, I can lock guides, I can get rid of them, the clear guides, and release if I'd made guides or whatever, which I haven't. But this is where they are. I could also show a grid as well, which doesn't make much odds at this stage. I'll put that on, and if I hide the image, and it's a bit difficult to see because I've zoomed in so much, but if I zoom out, you can see there's my grid. So I'll zoom back in and let's show the image. There we go. You see, let's zoom back in, Command or Control plus, space bar hold, click and drag up, and I'll do a quick save. So I'm not going to worry about the grid, but you can obviously use a grid to make sure things are proportional. So that's the only guide I'm going to do. Of course, I could do other guides like one for here for the left edge. Well, it won't be right at the edge. It will be sort of like here. This is going to be my box, my actual grid. And so something like that. And then there might be an X height and a cap height as well. So I can drop something like that as well. And in effect, my whole box, and I'll drop on there as well. And I'll hide guides, or I'll lock guides, won't hide them. And the trace, so I need another, let's put another layer, let's call it grid. This is for one letter only. Let's put it under the trace. And this is going to be a rectangle. And this is going to be the box that I will draw in. And be aware, at the moment mine are set to no stroke, no fill. So I'll do D, which is default, and switch it. Well, I can switch it either way, but I want to click on the holy square, set it to, actually no, I want that. I'll do the, where are we? Let's set this to none. So no fill. And the stroke itself, I'll go to the appearance panel, where you can see it in properties here. On the right, you can see stroke. If I click on stroke here, I can choose the alignment. So center or outside. I'll choose outside, and I will make it much thinner, like a quarter point. See, I don't need it thick at all. This is my grid for one letter. And in effect, what I would need to do, once I've decided what the grid is, what is the width and height of the box, and that's up to me, and I can do that according to whatever grid I like. So I can do it like by a 2x3 square grid, or a 4x5 square grid, or a 3x3, something like that. It's not the size that matters, it's the proportions. And in effect, what I would end up doing is I would copy and paste this for each letter and so on and so forth. So let's zoom in back around that. Spacebar, click and drag, let go, save. So this is my letter space, as it were, the box, and this is the position, in this particular case, the letter I sits. The baseline is down here. In fact, actually, the box would usually be bigger than the baseline, so the box should be something like that. Here's the baseline, here's the X height, the height of the letter X in your alphabet, and there could be others as well, but I won't worry about that here. Notice if I bring in my vertical guide, let's bring it in to have a look. Now this is an approximation, of course, because this is quite a rough image. Notice when I drop it here, we see the end of the foot on the left-hand side does not meet, it's not the same distance from the main stem, the main body of the letter, as the top left. And again, this is how it's been created, and this is entirely up to you. The simple shape we're going to start with is a rectangle, because if you look at this, this is mostly rectangular shapes. The only difference being corners have curves, as you can see. They're definitely rounded, not sharp. And the end on the left here and the top of the sort of the dot here is splayed out, is wider than the bottom and wider than the other side. But we'll start with a rectangle. So I'll click on the rectangle tool and I will draw it approximately how I want it. Something like that. V key. Now be a little bit careful. Oh, missed it. Right, because I haven't got stroke and fill. So again, press D, no fill, and the stroke, I'll go back here and I can set it to 1/4, either under appearance or here under properties. Black is fine. And well, in fact, actually, I won't do a stroke. I will reverse it. So I'll do Shift X. So I'll have no stroke, but black fill. So the stroke doesn't get in my way. Now, it's getting a little bit difficult to see, but let's approximate the height and the width. If you want to be precise, under the View menu, we can go into, where is it? We just want to see the preview. Oh, there you go, outline. There you go. Command or Control Y. And when I click on that, we see no stroke and fill. We just see the lines. So maybe if I want to do that, but I won't do that here. Now, I'm going to assume that apart from the splayed edges, the stem and the horizontals are the same width and height. They may not be, but for this example, I'm going to do that. So if that's the case, and I want this resting on the guideline, don't forget under the View menu, actually, I should put on Smart Guides. Smart Guides are, there you go, you see, and it's snapping, it's telling me exactly where I am, etc. So the pink lines, we always want that. And go down. I'm not snapping to a grid, but I may want that if I'm using a grid, and under guides as well, as we've already seen. So everything is fine with that. So assuming they're the same sort of width, all I need to do is make a copy. So Alt or Option drag up, go near a corner, not on a corner, near a corner, click and drag, hold the Shift key down whilst you're dragging, and it snaps to, as you can see, increments there, 22.5 degrees. So 45, well, actually 45 degrees, 90. Drag over. Make sure they overlap, not all the way like that, but, you know, just something like that, because we're going to join them. We're going to unite them in a second using the shape mode here. I need another copy for here and another copy for here. So Alt drag, go near a corner, look at the two semicircular arrows, click and drag, hold the Shift key. Let go of the keyboard or not the keyboard, let go of the mouse first or the trackpad, click and drag. Let's resize it. Something like, let's resize it a little, something like that. And I'm going to go up to there, something like that. I'm going to do Command Y or Control Y. I'm just checking. You see the lines merge at the top. They overlap. That's fine. Command Y. Because if they're slightly off and you merge them, you'll get little bumps and things which we don't want. Alt drag, go near a corner, click and drag, hold the Shift key, drag it up again. And you can see the center smart guide, right? Yeah, that's fine where I want. And click and drag. Oh, click and drag down, something like that. And save. And if I hide the image, that's what I've got. You can see I'm not exactly on the baseline, but that's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. I can fix that later. Here we go. There we go. In fact, I can, let's have a look now. Command Y. There you go. That's better. Let's check the top. Yes, yes, yes. So the next step is to merge the bottom three into one shape. So click on one, hold the Shift key, click in the other, click in the other. Then, now object group won't do this. You've got to go to Pathfinder, top row, first from the left, unite. One click, boom, done. And we know it's one shape because if I now go to the white arrow tool, there we go, the A key, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got anchor points. There should be one in every corner, but we have some extras. So let me zoom in around here. It's added some extras, which I don't need. So P for pen, or you click on the pen tool. And if you roll over one of these anchor points, it goes to a minus, pen minus. Click on that, deletes it. Click on that. It deletes it without getting rid of the line. Command or Control minus. There you go. Spacebar, click and drag, and A key for the black arrow. So actually, we want the V key. I always forget. V key for the black arrow, A key for the white arrow. So we want A for white arrow. So now I want to play around with these corner points here on the left and the top two. So if you notice, I've clicked on this with the white arrow. The four corner points, they're now solid. I don't want that. So I'm going to click off, click and drag from outside over the top two. And you should notice, it's a bit small, but you should notice the top two are solid and the bottom two are white. That means the top two are selected, the bottom two are not. We need to splay them out. Click on the S key, which switches to scale, and click and drag. And there we go. And A for the white arrow tool, click and drag over the two anchor points here. And S, click and drag down. Let go. A key, click and drag over these two. S, click and drag down. Oh, I missed one. S, click and drag. Oh, I've got something. What's happening here? Let's have a look. A, click and drag over. S. All right, see, something's happening here. And what's going on? Let's zoom in. No, that's not what I want. We're on the scale tool. Yes, we're on the scale tool. Undo. S for scale. No, this is not, for some reason, this is not selecting. So let's try it again. Click off, click on, S, click and drag. Now, for some reason, it's not scaling. It should do like the others. So, okay, just for this, I can click on that one. Not G, sorry. Just A, click on it, and it's going to snap. Can you see it's going to snap to the guideline there? And I can click on this one and drag down. The scale should have worked, but maybe I had something selected which I couldn't see. And there we go. And this is my, let's hide the image. This is my new shape. Notice we have these angles here, and they are pushing the shape, the letter form, above the guides and below the guides. And let's do a quick save. And that's fine, but it's entirely up to me how I want to do this. And now we need to talk about round corners. So we're on the trace layer. Let's check we're on the right layer. Right. So what I've made a mistake is, so let's select this. V, click, hold the Shift key, click. I'm on the grid layer and it needs to be on the trace layer. The grid layer should only hold the box, but it doesn't. It holds the shape as well. So let's expand the grid layer. And can you see it's path and path? You see the two colors here. And I can click and drag on this to go to trace. And I can click and drag on this to go to trace, expand that. And there they go. So let's check. Boom. And let's lock the grid layer and check that's the only one. Yes, that's fine. And so that's okay. So now I can see what's going on and do a quick save. But now I want to do round corners, and that's very straightforward. Click on the white arrow tool or A key, and you should notice with it selected all the anchor points, which are now green because we're on the green layer. All the anchor points, they're solid, which means everything we do now will affect all of them. And you should see little circles in every single corner. And you should see those because under the View menu, you should have, where is it? Hide corner widget because it's visible. So if I click on it, the circles are corner widget, which we don't see now. But if I go to the View menu and show corner widget, we now have. And what's the corner widget? Click and drag on any circle. And can you see everything now goes round? Boom. And it all goes round by the same amount. If I want only one anchor point to be rounded to a specific size, a different size, what you have to do, click off, click and drag over it. So you've only got one circle, and then I can click and drag on that, and it only affects that one. Do a quick save. Click on the black arrow tool. You should have font self installed. So under the window menu extension and font self maker. And for some reason, it's not. There we go. I was in something. So window, extensions. For some reason, it's not coming up. Let's see what's going on. Just save again. So the font self maker should come up, and it's not at the moment. Something must be interfering with it. But what you do is let's click on these two. Before you use font self maker, this needs to be one shape. You can either object and group, just there, Command or Control G, or we can go to Shape Made and click again on Unite. This will unite them even though there's a gap, as you can see here. And I can still go to the white arrow tool, press the A key. I can still click on things and play around with them and do whatever it is, etc., etc. Oh, I know, I must have been on maybe the layers. Let's go. Let's save that. So I can hide everything else if I want. The grid, the guides, and there we have my letter. Let's see now, window extensions. No, so what you would do next is you would open that up. A new panel appears, click on this, type in the letter you wanted to add, which is the letter I, and then create glyph. There's a button there. Right, a short little hiatus. I just restarted Illustrator. So I'll go to Window Extensions and now it's live. So Font Self Maker, wait for it to load, move it off to one side. So I will click on my shape. It's all one shape. I'm on the black arrow tool, or I am now. I'm on the black arrow tool. There it is. Let's not move it. And go to Font Self Maker. So we've done a new font. So you should say open here, which we don't need. So if you've got something else in here, you're doing it from scratch, do new, and we're here. So I'll click here, type in I, and just create glyph. We import it. There's no errors. You can see I is here. And here is my letter. And I can delete it if I don't like it and redo it. But if I double click on this, I can now muck around with the spacing of the letterbox, and I can move this up or down depending on where I want it to be. And then double click in the white area and we're back here. And that's your workflow. That's how you create your letters, letter by letter. Some of the letters will be similar to others. So if I bring back the image, let's move this out the way. So when you do one letter, don't forget, some letters are similar, like a B and a D with a few changes, an M and an N with a few changes, and here it's quite narrow compared to the N, an O and a P maybe, so don't forget, you don't have to do every single letter individually. You may be able to do things faster if certain letters are similar. But that's the basic workflow. That's the basic process for tracing over your sketched letter forms.